Hi guys, welcome to my channel. How are y'all doing today? So here today on Abby the Witch, we are going to be talking about deity work and my personal experience. I'm going to start out by saying that you do not have to work with deities to be a witch. When I started out, I didn't ever think I was ever going to work with deities, actually. This has all happened really organically for me, and if it's meant to happen for you, you'll know it and it will happen. This is a video about how I work with deities personally, and is by no means how you have to work with deities or how all witches work with deities. I was going to separate how I work with deities and each deity I've worked with and am working with separately, but that would get really complicated, I feel like, because each deity I work with, my experience has been so different. The duration of me working with them, how I invoke them, the offerings I leave, I mean, it's also different for each one. So I think what I'm going to do is just name each deity and my experience with them personally. Unfortunately, I am not going to talk about all of the deities I've worked with and am working with in this video for personal reasons. I just don't feel safe doing that on camera. Not because it's taboo to talk about in the witchy community or anything stupid like that. I just don't feel safe. It kind of pisses me off because I found out just the other day that if you block someone on YouTube, they can still see your content. So if you didn't know that, you know that now. Look it up. Yeah, if you block a user or a subscriber on YouTube, that just keeps them from commenting. They can still see your shit, and that pisses me off. I think that's unsafe. I've had stalkers before in my life. It pisses me off. It's not safe. Why is the content maker getting punished for that? I just think that's fucking stupid. But anyway, moving on. So let me explain more about deity work and my personal experience with it. All right, so the first deity I really want to talk about, and the first deity that I really, if I can remember correctly, that I worked with was Goddess Iris. She is a Greek goddess. She is the goddess of rainbows, and she was the messenger of the gods. She came to me through an oracle card that I actually got in a package. I remember feeling the need to work with her through a spiritual bath, and I got a message from her, and that was really it. That's the thing too, is not every deity that you work with is going to be a permanent guide or a long-term guide. Some deities that you work with, like in my experience with Goddess Iris, is very fleeting. She came and went. She did what I needed her to do. She did what she felt she needed to do, I should say, and she left. And it's nothing personal or anything like that. I just didn't need anything else. And she didn't need to do anything else for me. So that was it. Lots of times deities will just pop up for something that you need, and that's it. They're not a guide. They're not a permanent guide. Sometimes they pop up on their own because they feel like you need something and they could help you out. And sometimes you go out of your way to invoke them and they say, okay, sure, I'll do that for you. Now leave me an offering and goodbye. This was a long time ago, and I can't remember what exactly I left her as an offering. I think it was the herbs that I had in my bath, maybe? I can't remember. It was a long time ago, but I do recommend after you work with deities, try to leave them a little something. And I'll go more into that with the other deities that I list off, but that is important. Offerings, in my opinion anyway, that's important. I mean, they're going out of their way to help you. You should leave offerings as a thank you. Okay, the next deity I'd really like to talk about is Baphomet. Now, Baphomet, some people view him very differently than me. It's kind of wishy-washy, but let me first start by talking about his origins and some of his history first. So Baphomet goes way back, like 14th century back. He was actually, at least this is how far back the history goes. He could be even older, but apparently the French Knights Templar were accused of worshiping him. After they got busted for worshiping this deity, the king was not too happy and basically deemed it as evil because it was not Christian enough, or well, Christian at all. Like I said, this is from a very long time ago, from the 14th century. So yes, there are historians who know what they're talking about, absolutely. However, none of us were actually there. So it's kind of hard to know if this was actually true. It's a theory. It's definitely a pretty well-known theory about Baphomet, and it seems pretty concrete, but you know, it's wishy-washy. And it's pretty hard to say where exactly Baphomet came from and his true origins. I've even read a little bit about the fact that Baphomet came from the name Muhammad. There you go. I mean, a lot of religions, beliefs, spiritualities crisscross and get all muddy together. So it's hard to tell. It really is. I mean, it was from such a long time ago. Now, to me, Baphomet is a gatekeeper, and I'll get more into that. And he also brings balance. Now, if you look at the figurine or the classic picture of Baphomet holding his hands like this, he is pointing up above and down below, as above, so below. He brings balance of science and spirituality. He brings balance of male, female, masculine and feminine energies. He brings balance of all kinds of things, of pretty much anything you can think of. I think of Baphomet, and that's one reason I love him, they. That's how he presents to me, is he, they. And he is pretty androgynous in that sense. He has both parts. So very different experience, personal experience than Iris for me, Goddess Iris, in the sense that he really called out to me. I have had visions of him, obsessive thoughts of working with him, seeing him everywhere, hearing about him everywhere. And I now know that that was him calling out to me. I now know that. And he is definitely, to this day, still one of my guides that I work with. One of my main guides, for sure. He is definitely the one who initiated me, or at least led me to the gates of my left-hand path. And that's why I think of him as a gatekeeper. Lots of times when I see him or have visions of him, he's standing in front of the gates. And I view this as the gates of the left-hand path, or my left-hand path, or the left-hand path, whatever. I hesitate saying the left-hand path because he might not be the gatekeeper for everyone. You know, I don't want to speak for other people. So I just view it as my left-hand path. I would definitely say he's not the one who really like initiated me on my left-hand path, but he led me to it. He's definitely, like I said, the gatekeeper. I was on the left-hand path before I even knew I was. So he definitely was like guiding me there for sure. And then I was like, oh yeah, makes sense. Many people see Baphomet as Satan, or one of the many names or faces of Satan. I both agree and disagree with this. For me personally, it's a lot more complicated than that. I think that as humans, we tend to just deem things as what they are, and they're something black and white, so we can easily understand it and it's less intimidating. But I think Baphomet is way more complicated than that. I personally view Baphomet as a separate deity, but definitely can represent the same path that Satan can be a guide of. I think I worded that really poorly. I view Baphomet as a separate deity, okay? However, like I said, I view Baphomet as a gatekeeper and kind of the initiator, or who led me to my left-hand path. And the left-hand path can definitely be a path where you can come across Satan, Lucifer, as one of your guides, absolutely. So I think for that reason, he's kind of become this, and the history he has and the theory he has attached to him of the French Knights Templar. I think that's why he's become Satan. Basically, a lot of people look at Baphomet and view him as Satan and the goat head, but yeah, I agree and disagree with it. I think it's just like way more complicated than him just being Satan or him being completely separate from Satan. It gets, it's hard to explain because I don't even fully understand it. And that's why I consider myself, if a lot of people don't know this, but I guess I would just go ahead and say it. I consider myself agnostic in a lot of ways, and I'm comfortable with the unknown. I'm comfortable with that. It doesn't bother me. I can believe in things and not fully understand it. Invocations and offerings of Baphomet. A really popular way, and the way I do it too, way of invoking him is by simply having his figurine on your altar. I don't know if you guys can see him. Probably not, but I have his figurine on my altar, and I really feel like that helps invoke him into your space. He also, in my experience, again, this is my personal experience, he loves smoke. Whenever I light incense or my sage or whatever, I always give him a little bit of smoke and cleanse him a little bit and give him a little bit of that smoke, and he seems to really like that. I have meditated in his stance before and like how he's pointing up and down. That helps invoke him as well. And doing some tritaka or gazing, more commonly used with candles, but you can do tritaka gazing at really anything. I tend to gaze at him, and I gaze right at the pentacle that's on his forehead until I'm in a trance-like state, and then I meditate, and that helps invoke him. Offerings. He loves blood. Loves blood. And I have noticed this with a lot of deities on the left-hand path, is they love blood, but they love bodily fluids in general. So if that doesn't gross you out, that's a great offering, is bodily fluids. He loves blood. And I lots of times I'll give menstrual blood as an offering. I feel like the left-hand path guides tend to be really fucking intense, and blood is a very intense form of magic, and it shows your commitment to something. So I think they just like love that intense attachment. I think they just like will eat it up. They love it. All right, the next deity I want to talk about is Lilith. She goes by demon or goddess Lilith. I feel she goes by either one. I view her more as a demon, but if you'd rather call her goddess Lilith, I think she loves that too. A little bit about her history and origin. She is written about in ancient Mesopotamian and Jewish scripture, written as the first wife of Adam in the Garden of Eden, which I don't really like this, but that's how religions have talked about her in their holy scriptures. She got kicked out of the Garden of Eden for disobeying her husband. Supposedly, she's written as this she-demon, which, why can't she just be demon? Why does it have to be demon and she-demon? Like, why? Why are women historically treated this way? She's written as like this jealous she-demon, and she goes around stealing people's babies and gives dudes erections in their sleep and all this shit. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really go for that crap. I don't know. I'm just not into holy scriptures and shit like that. So, I mean, if that's how you view Lilith, that's cool, but that's not how I view her. I really do think that she was just deemed evil, and there were rumors made about her, just kind of like Baphomet, honestly. So let me get into how I view her and how I started working with her. Lilith came to me just like Baphomet, okay? I kept seeing her in visions. I had obsessive urges to work with her. I kept hearing about her. I kept seeing her. I was scrying one day and I saw her. She pierced my neck with her thumbnail and licked the blood and said, "You're one of my daughters now." I mean, that's what she did. That's what I saw. She also showed me her sigil while I was scrying as well. Now, for me, she is not this she-demon who flies around stealing babies and screams in the night like a banshee. She brings female empowerment, specifically in like your sexuality. She definitely strips away shame in your female sexuality. She helps you just know who the fuck you are as a woman and what you deserve as a woman. She has confirmed for me what is not okay, things that have happened to me or things that go on in our society, in the patriarchy, in our rape culture. She has confirmed for me, which I knew that these weren't okay, but I used to just kind of be like, well, I mean, I've always been a feminist, you know, those things have always pissed me off. Just like, you know, the fucked up way our society works. But Lilith has really been like, you are not too much for getting angry about that. You are not too much for getting upset about the racist, bigoted patriarchy that we live in. You are not too much for being angry about that at all. So she's really confirmed that for me. She has really made me learn about, still have other deities, but she has also helped me learn about my anger and how to honor my anger. And again, how my anger is very justified when it comes to my trauma and my male abusers in my life. She does not put up with it. And she actually pushes my anger forward and has made me realize that there is nothing wrong with anger, and anger has a really bad reputation in our society. And yeah, you shouldn't like live in anger always, because that's also unrealistic and toxic as well. But to always have this positive mindset and push away your trauma and try to push away what's happened to you and push away that anger that comes with that is also toxic, at least for me. So she's really pushed that anger out and made it clear that it's extremely justified and worth honoring. Absolutely. She's also helped me not give a fuck about what other people think of me. But more importantly, she's helped me realize when it's important to care what someone thinks. Not necessarily about me, but just in general. Because there are times where you should listen to people and care what they think. But someone's opinion about me or someone judging me, I mean, that's just, you know, it's just not important, and it's unproductive to get upset about that shit. So she's really helped me just learn to move past that and caring about it. She really likes women. She really likes women, but she particularly likes people of color, women of color. She really likes queer people, people of the LGBT community, people with disabilities. She likes societal outcast. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that these people should be outcast. That's fucked up, that's like the norm. But, you know, they are societal outcasts. Society oppresses women. Society oppresses people of color. Society oppresses people with disabilities and people who are part of the LGBT community. So, you know, guides on the left-hand path in general really embrace societal outcasts, but Lilith really loves them. Now, not to say that a white, straight, cis dude couldn't work with Lilith, but I don't really know how that would work because I'm not a white, straight, cis dude, but I feel like it would look a lot different, and it might be a little more challenging. I mean, but I don't know. Now, invocations, ways I invoke her. I have a candle dedicated to her. It has black snakes on it, and I also painted her sigil on it. I light that, and I feel like that helps invoke her really well. I might gaze into the candle while saying the incantation Te amo dea Lilith, which means I love you, goddess Lilith. I also drew her sigil, or yeah, painted it with like paint markers, and hung that on my wall above my altar. It's actually right there. I feel like that really helps invoke her as well. Now, offerings. She also loves blood and bodily fluids. Once again, guides on the left-hand path tend to really like these things. Now, I keep saying guides on the left-hand path. You don't have to be on the left-hand path to work with these deities. I just really refer to them as that, I guess. And I've noticed that a lot of people who are on the left-hand path work with these deities, and people who work with these deities tend to be on the left-hand path. So, but they don't have to go together, I wouldn't think. She really likes bodily fluids. She really likes blood. She really, being a demon, a goddess of female empowerment, she really loves menstrual blood. I will leave some menstrual blood on her sigil as an offering. I've even left some on a offering plate in front of Baphomet and her candle with her sigil on it. She also really loves song and music. So I've played music on my phone before for her and Baphomet's. Her flame on her candle will start flickering really chaotically when I sing to her or start playing a song for her on my phone. She really likes that. All right, so the last deity I really want to talk about today is King Paimon. Now, this is very new. I'm still learning a lot about him. Same way, he came to me a lot in visions. I saw him a lot. I've heard about him a lot. I have obsessive urges to work with him, and that is his way of coaxing me and getting me to work with him. I also, just like Lilith, saw him while I was scrying, and he also showed me his sigil, which his sigil is really complicated. So I didn't see it in full detail while I was scrying, but he definitely did try to show it to me. He came to me with a very masculine, but also a very feminine face. So he has very striking features. And it's interesting that it was kind of between masculine and feminine in appearance, because I looked it up and I was doing some research on it, which he doesn't really want me to do. He wants me to get to know him through my gnosis, but I can't help it. I do a little bit of research, and I found that he actually tends to have a female face. He kind of does have both features in a way. It's kind of hard to explain. I just say that his features, especially his eyes, are very striking. So it can almost look both in a way. And it's interesting that he's come into my life, because lately I've been feeling so far over to my feminine side. I won't really get into that right now, because that's like the story of my gender identity, and that gets really long and complicated. But the past couple of years, I've really found my feminine side and my divine feminine, and I have fallen in love with her, and she's wonderful and powerful as fuck, and even aggressive sometimes when she needs to be, and I love her. However, I have veered so far over to that side that I have lost touch with my masculine. So I really feel like he's coming into my life, not only just for that, but definitely because it's just time. It's time for me to get back in touch with my masculine side. So he's come at the right time, and I think that's part of why I need to work with him. Now, invoking him. I have invoked him once into my space. Like I said, my experience with him is very fresh and new. I actually invoked him by drawing a circle, scribbling a circle over and over again. And while I was doing that, I was saying his name, King Paimon, or King Paimon. I've heard it both ways. And while I was doing that, I was closing my eyes and I was doing eyelid scrying. And that's when I saw him in my vision. I almost think that as I was drawing that circle, I was opening a portal for him to walk into through my third eye. And after I drew that circle, I actually turned it into his sigil. I drew his sigil, and he seemed to really like that. So it also in turn was kind of an offering to him. I was invoked him, but then that also became his offering, because it became his sigil. And that's another thing too, is drawing and doing art for different deities. They love that too. A lot of deities do. He liked that. He loved that as an offering, was me drawing his sigil for him. Lilith liked that too when I drew her sigil. Now, like I said, very new, very fresh experience with King Paimon. I'm not quite sure exactly what his offerings are, other than that drawing of his sigil, but definitely will work on that and figure that out. And if you guys are interested, I can keep you updated on my experience with King Paimon. So far, you guys, that is the list of deities I have or am working with the exception of the ones I don't feel comfortable talking about. I definitely felt other deities calling, but I'm still working through and sorting through that. I have heard Nyx, Goddess Nyx calling. I have heard the crone calling, which the crone isn't really a deity. That's more of an energy. That's the dark moon energy. So that's a little different. Yeah, definitely have felt other deities, guides, and energies calling. So I can always do a part 2 to this video if you guys are interested. Don't forget, also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I am going to do a giveaway at 350 subscribers. I love doing giveaways. Maybe they're corny to some people, but I just love to do that. I love to ship out something to you guys because it's just a way of me saying thank you. So once I hit 350, I will do a giveaway, and I'm thinking about doing a live stream. Let me know if you guys are interested in that too. It makes me really fucking scared to go live, if I'm being honest, but if you guys are interested, I'll do that. I'll go live. I think that would be really fun. Maybe I can like draw while I'm on live stream and just talk to you guys. I think that would be fun. So that's all I really have for today, guys. So until next time, I hope you stay very well. Thank you. Love you. Bye. That's like, you know, when you go out in public and you help someone and they don't say thank you, like, fuck you. Like, I'm not gonna help you again. All right, next deity I would like to talk about is none other than Baphomet. Why did I just say it like that? I don't know. Now, don't like spit in his face or anything like that, but I don't think I'm like that. I don't know if spit is good. I don't know. Maybe that works for you. That wouldn't work for me. All right, the next deity I would like to talk about is none other...